In terms of managers, sort of stuff I've already touched on really, just reminding themselves that actually people work for people. So if a manager had a great relationship with their team, and you said to someone on that team, who do you work for, they'd say, oh, John. Then they might add, who runs the China and Glass department. If you said, who do you work for, and they said, I work in China and Glass, you knew that manager had a poor relationship with their team because it just wasn't close enough. They weren't seen as part of the team and somebody that wanted to be around. That was kind of important. We were very good at managing tasks at John Lewis, and probably about 95%, actually I'm being kind, 98% of the management time was spent managing tasks. I haven't an exact figure for this, but a ballpark, if you're not spending 20% of your week, every week, chatting, and just chatting, and coaching and encouraging and supporting your people, you will never deliver this change. If indeed. The 20% figure is notional. It's the kind of average that I think will work for most organisations. Some might need a bit more. Nationwide Building Society set out to achieve 45% for their team leaders in call centres, which I thought was fantastic. And their call centres have got a great service reputation, so it clearly works. I think that will be too ambitious for a lot of organisations who find 20% scary. In my general experience, it's more about mindset than practical stuff. So my fast and dirty way of doing it is to write down for a manager everything you do in a week, put it into priority order, and then think, what are we trying to achieve here? And that's why the definition of customer experience is important. So when you've got that written down, say, if we use Ritz-Carlton's as I did this morning, welcome, wanted, remember, cared for, and look at the very bottom thing on the list of priority order and say, well, compared to welcome, wanted, remember, cared for, how does that fare? Can I stop doing stuff? And it's a bit fast and dirty, but for a lot of managers that works. After that, it's normally doing some more detailed analysis. A manager who's not spending 20% of their time with their people, it's not that they're actively wasting that time. The managers I come across in all different sectors usually are working really hard. It's getting the manager to think about the value that activity adds. So that if the fast and dirty doesn't work, a more detailed approach of thinking, what actions do I take in my week? What value is that adding to the people that report to me or the organisation's customers? That's the mindset. And thinking, if this isn't adding value, can I stop doing it? And sometimes it's a matter of doing more detailed analysis to actually identify what value or not that action is taken, and obviously then removing the stuff that doesn't. And if you can get all the managers in an organisation to do the same exercise, then you're all in the same boat, so you're all having the same discussion about how can we create more time for, and again, part of that mindset is, who are your customers? Well, for managers who are quite high up in an organisation who don't actually see frontline customers, their customers have got to be the people that report to them. And that waterfalls all the way down until you get to the people at the front line who are really dealing with customers.
We use it, John Lewis. I still use it with clients now, actually. Probably the most difficult thing in terms of service excellence for us is about the empowerment of people.
Well, our experience of empowerment is that the challenge is not about empowering people, but having them understand what empowerment actually means to them. Because if someone is earning £15,000–20,000 a year, their sense of scale is much different to a customer who might be earning £100,000 a year. So our experience in Metrobank to date has not been trying to pull people back from going too far in terms of being empowered. It's trying to get them to go far enough. So persuading people that it's okay to reimburse somebody £8 for their parking fees. It's okay to give somebody £5 to pay for a taxi to take them from one of our stores to another store. But I think our challenge at the moment is getting them to go more in that direction rather than trying to pull them back. Well, hopefully, if we are empowering people and they understand the way our organisation works, they will have an intuitive sense of how far they can or can't go. Now, there's no clearly defined measures for this. So occasionally people might go a bit too far, and it's for the store manager or someone else to sit down with them and say, do you think we did what was best for the customer and best for the bank?
So we've been open for 10 days, so it was August of last year. We were incredibly fortunate. We had people queuing to open accounts, which is just great. Well, not that we like the idea of queues, but it was great that people were queuing. So to try and manage that better, to give the people a better experience, we gave them all a little device, a bit bigger than this, that you might have seen in family restaurants, that when you can't book, we give you one of these, and when it's your turn it vibrates and often changes colour or flashes. Yep. So we gave everyone one of those, and we gave them a voucher for a cup of coffee from Eat on the corner because we knew that these things worked, the range to Eat was sufficient that they worked. And this worked great. And I came in on the second Sunday and loads of people and no coffee. So I said to the duty manager, where's coffee? He said, we've run out of Eat vouchers. Okay, go to Eat, get more vouchers. He said, Eat has run out of vouchers. We've used every Eat voucher in London. And I went, okay, well then why don't you say to people, go to Eat, have a cup of coffee on us, bring us a receipt, and we'll reimburse you. And the only thing he could think of to say was, what do I do with the receipts? And I said, why would I give a flying fig what you do? You know, let's serve the customer first and worry about the paperwork afterwards. But he didn't realise he was empowered to do this.
So over the world, there are many organisations that deliver best practice. But actually, for me, there's only one that actually really has come to the fore in delivering excellent customer service. Has anybody ever heard of this company called Zappos? Yeah. Anybody? Good. Tony Hsieh, who became the owner of Zappos. Tony Hsieh is a very clever boy. He went to university in Harvard. He got headhunted by Oracle, spent 3 months at Oracle, decided he didn't like it, and with another buddy of his, went into a bedroom and started writing some code. 2 years later, Bill Gates gave him $265 million for that code. He developed banner advertising, linked exchange. But one of the companies he'd invested in was a shoe company. Originally, he didn't want to invest in that shoe company because he said, we're a techie, we're techies, we want to invest in technology companies. And the guy that had set up this website called shoesite.com said to him, did you know that Americans spend $50 billion a year on shoes? And 10% of that is through catalogs. And Tony Hsieh, realizing that the new catalog would be the internet, he got interested. And after a bit of persuasion, he invested some money, he took ownership of the company. And in 2001, he set out a vision. He said, we will become, our core focus will be customer service. This business will be built on a customer service model. And his model was, if you order from us today, and you're on the west coast of America, you get the shoes tomorrow. If you don't, you get them for free. If you're on the east coast of America, you get them in 2 days, you don't get them, you get them free. The Zappos model now, if you buy something from Zappos.com and you don't use it, don't wear it for 365 days, you can return it and get your money back. Your money back after a year. He sold Zappos to Amazon 2 years ago for $1.2 billion. So, and their core focus, customer service, nothing else. But in a very unstructured way. And the reason why I asked if there's any Americans in the audience is that it can only be done in America. It really couldn't be done anywhere else. Because
I think the crucial thing is that the Zappos culture is so unique because it's from the guy at the top all the way down. And what I've found around the world is that those individuals are one in a generation. And he is so unique. And he's managed to implement this. And his book about happy employees and happy customers is the way in which they implement their model is just so unique. I mean, they've ripped up the book. And they've basically created an organisation that employs, I think it's 1,200 people, huge customer satisfaction, huge social media following, but all built on great customer service, but delivered in an unstructured fashion, which for me is just unreplicatable. The key thing is organisations know who their customers are. Some of them they have details on, if it's a bank, and you have a bank account. Others have customers that walk in the door and they never see them again until maybe the next time they come in. But it's about looking at each of those delivery channels, working out what are the segmentation models for those customers in those channels, and then finding out how often do those customers engage with the organisation. And then finding what is the best way the customer would like to tell the organisation about their experience. So sometimes it's a telephone call, sometimes it's an email, sometimes it's an SMS. There's so many different ways in which you can engage with the customer. But the most important thing is you make it easy for the customer to tell you about the experience. And the learning point there is that you don't have big long questionnaires. For example, when you buy in the US, when you buy an Apple product, you can get your receipt electronically, and within 1 hour of purchasing the product, you get an email. that asks you about the experience. It's fantastic, you know, and I'm led to believe from Apple that a very large proportion of customers who are so happy with buying the product actually say great experience or bad experience or whatever, but they complete the questionnaire.